Hey, it's a Humble Collector here, and today's video we have another unboxing. This is the first one that I filmed in a couple months, so it's quite large. 95% plus of what's in here is death cards from various sellers, various auctions. So without further ado, we'll get started here with this one. Yeah, a couple of these are actually pretty big lots as well. And one of them actually came from a big auction house in Berlin, actually. So that should be pretty interesting. That one, they didn't have great pictures of the entire lot, so it looks like there's a shipping receipt in there. Let me pull that out. So yeah, I'm going to be as close as you guys are as to which death cards are in that lot. Yeah, for most people, I sure it's fine when their shipping receipt gets wrapped around their death cards, but obviously for me it's a bit problematic. Especially when it's packaged as well, but we're almost through. I think. I say as I continue to struggle. Yeah, so not only was the my receipt wrapped around the death cards, each of the death card packages also individually had my eBay username on it, which is great. But luckily we are through on one of them. So we'll take a look at that one first before I struggle with the other one. So here we have the 4-panel death card for Johann Gwantner, soldier in a Hochgebirgsjäger battalion, so that's like a high mountain troop. I'm not super familiar with those guys. First time I've ever seen it mentioned on a card, actually. But interestingly enough, he has that nice, I believe that's the RAD patch. Yeah, I think that's RAD. But yeah, so Johann here was killed in the Caucasus on October 5th, 1942 at the age of 20. It's kind of an interesting card. And then the other one here is hopefully going to be a bit easier to open. We will see. Okay, yeah, there we go. So this other card here is for Hermann Grundl, a Funker in an infantry regiment, who was killed April 7th, 1945 in Königsberg, East Prussia, after 5.5 years service at the age of 38. So what's interesting is he's mentioned as being a Funker in an infantry regiment, but as you can see here in the photo, he's actually got a Luftwaffe uniform. So I'm assuming he was probably transferred to Luftwaffe Feld Division at some point late in the war. Very curious to research this one. This is a nice late war, maybe even a post-war printed card. The paper quality is very different than a lot of other death cards. Pretty neat, though. You got the grave type photo there with the name printed on it. Yeah, looking forward to researching this one, though. I think it's pretty interesting. Now, moving on. This is a pretty big box. There was a guy who listed a whole bunch of death cards starting at, I want to say 99 cents, hundreds of them. And I went a little bit overboard, as you could probably imagine, and may have bought, honestly, at this point, I even remember, I think it was well over, well over 50, just from this one auction. You'd think that'd be open. Gotta open at the bottom, too. You also think after all these years, you'd be slightly better at opening packages, and yet here we are. Alright, hold on. Let me, okay, I see. That's what I get for trying to open packages from the back to avoid showing my shipping label. There we go. Okay. So we're almost through here. Oh, that's a lot of death cards. Alright. So let's, yeah, it's a lot of death cards. Okay. Well, let's start going through them. A lot of these are pretty basic cards, but there are some interesting ones mixed in here. Okay, so let's start with the first one here. It's going to be a long video. So we have Otto Junghuber, Gefreiter and Panzer Infantry Regiment number 14. So this is an interesting card that I was telling you about. So, as I mentioned previously, generally, during World War II, they didn't put the specific unit on cards for security reasons. You know, you didn't want people knowing where different units were. However, here we have Panzer Infantry Regiment, Panzer Grenadier Regiment number 14. But this is printed June 21st, 1944. So this is a very odd for like a, you know, later war kind of card. We have a photo of him here. Interesting enough, he was actually killed in Minsk as well at the age of 36. And it looks like Mineneinschlag? So, Mineneinschlag. So did he step on a mine, maybe? I'll have to translate that later. But that's a very interesting card. I haven't seen one that late with the unit on it, so I thought that was pretty neat. The next one we have here, I think this is they put all of the really interesting cards at the top. That's fun. So, this is the one I think it is. It is. So here we have a lovely 6-panel card. So, for everybody who's been watching these videos for a while, you've never seen me open a 6-panel card before because they don't come up very often. Generally, 2 panels, 4 panels is very common. When you do see 6-panel cards, they're generally for, you know, 3 brothers or 3 members of the same family. You know, similar to like the cards we have, they're like 2 brothers. This is really odd because when we open it up here, Emil Wolpert, Unterofficer in a Panzer Grenadier Regiment, candidate for theology candidate in the Capuchin Order. There we go. Okay. Born in Schweigern, Kreis, Taberkosem. So, born February 21st, 1922. Joined the military December 1st, 1941, and fell in Italy on August 8th, 1944. And then we just have 2 large walls of text here, which I'm very much looking forward to translating. But then, oddly enough, it ends dated April 10th, 1946. So there's a lot to unpack there. So obviously this is a post-war card. Either they didn't make one for Emil during the war, or they did, and post-war they made another one. But interestingly enough, generally when you see a post-war card, it doesn't have any like iron crosses, swastikas, things like that because of the denazification laws. Which is very strange because Emil clearly has his helmet here, which again, unusual for Death Card, with swastika clearly visible. So that's just... I'm very fascinated by this card. I'm so looking forward to translating this. This is probably the most unique 6-panel card I think I've ever seen. So I'm very much looking forward to eventually getting to a video on that one. Moving on here. We have Josef Stoger, soldier son from Gilgenberg, who fell July 30th, 1944 at the age of 33 in the East. It's a pretty standard card there. We have Anton Albrecht, Obergefreiter in a communications battalion, bearer of the Eastern Front Medal, killed October 10th, 1944 in Memel. Pretty interesting. We have Theodor Wegener, who on August 3rd, 1944, at the age of 19, fell during a Sturmangriff, an assault, I think, in Weichselbogen, east of Radom. I think, again, my off-the-cuff German translation is not the best, but so that's a pretty neat card. It's got nice colored backing, which you don't see. You see them occasionally, but they're definitely not super-duper common. Moving on here to Johann Pernecker, inhabiter or bearer of the Iron Cross Second Class, the Wound Badge, the Eastern Front Medal, and the Kraftfahr Warungs Award. I can't remember what that is off the top of my head. He was killed July 12th, 1944, on the Eastern Front at the age of 23. Very interesting. Then we have Hans Gromsommer, theology student, Funker member of Battalion Staff in a Gebersjäger Regiment, died July 14th, 1944 at the age of 20 years. And we have Franz Braumann, bearer of the Eastern Front Medal, who on September 18th, 1943 at the age of 26, looks like he died during an air raid in the West. So yeah, like I said, a lot of these are like more common-ish cards, but there's some really interesting stuff mixed in. So we have Ludwig Wurzer, Pioneer Troop, bearer of the Iron Cross Second Class, the Wound Badge in Gold, who died on December 11th, 1944 in a field hospital after being heavily wounded at the age of 22¼ years. Folgt seinem Bruder Josef und Schwager Karl. I wonder, oh yeah, so he's following in death his brother Josef, and I don't know what Schwager is, but must be another relative. Lovely HCOM 302 backing. Love to see it. Let's see, we have Edmund Ropelt here. Let's see, died June 13th, 1944. He's a Hauptmann, or a captain. HCOM 302 again. Very interesting. What's nice is, like, with captains and lieutenants and things, sometimes you can actually find, usually they get mentioned more often in, like, unit histories and things, so sometimes you're able to find more info on them. Anton Weitzer, Funker in a communication battalion, August 18th, 1941, at a field hospital in Biala, Surkiev, at the age of 36. Let's see, Franz Xavier Gomperl, Gefreiter in a Panzer Abwehr Abteilung, veteran of the fighting in France, bearer of the Iron Cross Second Class, who on July 14th, 1944, at the age of 21, died in the East. Interesting. This is it's a very hard card, actually. It almost has like a serrated edge on it, like it was punched out. That's very odd. I don't know what that would be from. Interesting. I might have to do more research on that. Let's see. We have Martin Mühlfeldner, Obergefreiter, bearer of the Iron Cross Second Class, Panzer Assault Badge, Eastern Front Medal, the Krim Shield, very nice, the Wound Badge in Silver. Can't really, don't know what any of those words are. September 15th, died September 15th, 1944. In Lupake, after being wounded on September 2nd, 1944, died at the age of 32 years. That's interesting. Norbert Gerlinger, who fell on January 13th, 1945 by Lefau on the Eastern Front at the age of 20. See, Josef Vogel, Oberkraftfahrer in a park company. I can't remember what a park company is. Veteran of the campaigns in Poland and France. Died December 28th, 1941. In the field. Pretty interesting. This is kind of a neat brothers card, type that you don't see too often, where both their photos are on the same side here. So we have Josef and Max Stongel. Max was an Oberkraftfahrer, veteran of the campaigns in Belgium, France, and Holland, who died after being heavily wounded on February 2nd, 1943. And then Josef Stongel, who was a Jaeger, and fell on May 26, 1943, at Cuban, it looks like. HCOM 104 backing. Yeah, this is very unusual for a brothers card as well. Like I said, the guy had like some really interesting cards mixed in with some basic cards, so I kind of bought as many as I could. Spent far more money than I probably should, but hey, it's kind of a neat one. So I think this is the first card I have with this, but the PG here is for like a party member, so he's a member of the Nazi party, Josef Ubleis. Actual photo on here, not print. Let's see here. So he's an organizational leader in the NSDAP. Something about an Ostgruppen. Died April 24th, 1945, at the age of 49 years. And what's fascinating, so this is really weird. So this is April 24th, 1945. So we're right up at the end of the war. And this card still says, for Führer, for Führer and people, which generally you don't see a lot on late war cards because, you know, at that point, most people knew the war was basically lost. So we can gather from that not only was Josef Führer just a die-hard, hardcore Nazi, but probably his family was as well, given that reference there. Very interesting card. Very much looking forward to doing more research on that. Let's see, we have Gefreiter Xavier Busch. A shoemaker from Fernand. Died April 16th, 1944. Heavy fighting in the East at Tarnopol, it looks like, at the age of 19 years. Another HCOM 306 backing. Let's see. So we have Johann Seiler, Obergefreiter in a Pioneer Regiment, who after 3 years of faithful service died on January 31st, 1945, at the age of 22 years after the heavy fighting in Ungarn, it looks like. Yeah, Ungarn. There's a picture of him there. Yeah, a lot of these late war cards, the paper quality is very different than like you see early and mid-war. You can definitely see like the supply issues and the shortages and everything kind of shining through. So Engelbert Liebhardt here, von Honau, Gefreiter of 13th Grenadier Regiment 331, part of the 376th Infantry Division, who on August 1944, died August 1944 in Rome Jossi in Romania. So this is another really odd, like, later war card that has the specific unit and actually the division, which I don't think I've ever seen before. It's also a very glossy card compared to what I normally see. I might have to do a blacklight test on that one just to be sure. But, yeah, very, very interesting. Next up we have Max Frisch, Lieutenant and Battalion Adjutant in a Grenadier Regiment. Bearer of various awards, died August 10th, 1944, after being heavily wounded, died in a field hospital in the East. Got an HCOM 308 backing there. Which, interestingly, I know I said that a lot of these are more basic cards, but I kind of forgot how many cool ones are in here. So normally you would just have the name, rank, you know, died. But this one actually also included the various awards line, which I find kind of strange. But yeah, interesting stuff. Moving on here, we have Heinrich Dobmeier, who on July 27th, 1942, he was a Schutzen, died in the East at the age of 31. And my camera only records a 20-minute interval, so I'm going to have to stop here after like the next two cards and save this clip and move on to the next clip. Josef Faller, a soldier in Infantry Regiment who fell on February 2nd, 1942 in the heavy fighting in the East at the age of 22 years. And then this card here is Ludwig Batzelt, Unterofficer in Divisional Staff, died May 26, 1942 during the heavy fighting in the East at the age of 28 and a half years. Kind of an interesting, I don't know if that's a print defect or what, but that weird diamond-like pattern. Interesting. Alright, I'm going to stop real quick and then restart, so I guess there'll just be a cut here. Alright, so continuing on here, we have Anton Schubitz, a Gefreiter in Grenadier Regiment 4, who in April of 1945 in Rome, Bokoltz, died at the age of 21 years. This is another, again, April 1945, super late war card, Grenadier Regiment 4. Yeah, very, very interesting. I went from like seeing none to having bought multiple in the same auction. Let's see, Ferdinand Hallhuber, who was a Schutzen in Infantry Regiment, died December 14th, 1941 in the East at the age of 30. We have Aloy Bausenberger, Panzerjäger, who on November 10th, 1943, in Albania, died at the age of 19 years. There's more info there, but I don't know what those words mean. So again, another nice one to translate later. We have Anton Stiglbauer, soldier in infantry regiment, who on June 18th, 1942, died in the heavy fighting in the East at the age of 35 years. We have Herman Scharchinger, bearer of the Iron Cross Second Class, the Infantry Assault Badge in Silver, and the Wound Badge, who, in the fighting in the East on August 9, 1942, died at the age of 22 years in the Soviet Union. Let's see, Paul Lang, soldier infantry regiment, bearer of the Infantry Assault Badge in Silver, who on July 2nd, 1942, was wounded and passed away in a field hospital in the Soviet Union at the age of 34. Let's see, and then here we have Ludwig Bronstetter, Gefreiter in Infantry Regiment, who on 23rd of July, 1941, the fighting in Russia, died at the age of 23 years. Franz Schnegelberger, Unterofficer in a Panzer Grenadier Regiment, bearer of the Wound Badge and the Eastern Front Medal, who on January 7th, 1945, at the age of 30, died on the Western Front. So, yeah, January 7th on the Western Front. There we go. And so here we have Franz Grosvenor, Obergefreiter in a Lance Battalion, I'm not really sure what that is. Bearer of the Wound Badge and the Honor Cross with Swords, I think. Let's see, who died on January 31st, 1945, at the age of 42 years. Here we have Kajetan Berghammer, Schütze, an infantry regiment, who fell on 15th September 1941 in the Soviet Union at the age of 20. Ooh, we got some interesting font on this one. That's Matthias Weiss, Unterofficer in a Grenadier Regiment, who fell on 27th of November 1943 in Russia. Here we have Josef Frank, Unterofficer in a Gebersjäger Regiment, bearer of the Honor Crosses, or the War Merit Crosses. No, that's not the War Merit Crosses. Honor Crosses? Getting all confused now. Veteran of the campaigns in Poland, France, and the Balkans, who on 1st September 1942, in the fighting in the East, died at the age of 26 years, 2 months. Yeah. We're reading off so many cards now, it's all kind of like brain's turning to mush. I'll have to take a break before I film the next couple unboxings. Josef Mittermeier, Watchmaster in the Reserve Police, I think, who on April 11, 1945, died at the age of 44 years. No photo on that one. It's another really late war card. Here we have Maximilian Escher, Obergefreiter, and Fünfprecher in a Pioneer Battalion. I don't know what Fünfprecher is. Veteran of the campaigns of Poland, Belgium, and France, who died in Russia on January 7th, 1942. Getting near the end here. So we have, Felix Scheiser, Unterofficer in a Grenadier Regiment, bearer of the Silver Wound Badge and the Iron Cross Second Class, who on January 15th, 1945, died at the age of 24 years. And the final card from this seller bit of a more beat up one. Franz Schmidt, shooter in Infantry Battalion, who on August 16th, 1941, at the age of 20 years, died during an operation, it looks like. Yeah, so not a combat-related death. Huh. But yeah, pretty interesting. So, from just 2 sellers, that's the stack of death cards we have going into the rest of the unboxing. And there are far more coming. So let me just push those bags to the side. Got a nice envelope here. Looks like I got a sales receipt in there, so I'm just going to open this off screen real quick. Oh, actually, not a sales receipt for once. The seller of these death cards was kind enough to include some Volksbund printouts for me. So we'll open up the cards here real quick. So we have, let's see, George Wimmer, Gefreiter in a Gebersjäger Regiment, bearer of the Iron Cross 2nd Class, the Wound Badge, and the Eastern Front Medal, who on May 30th, 1943, died at the age of 20.5 years in a rel. So yeah, that's George Wimmer. For some reason I feel like this is a 4-panel, but it's not. And then this card is for Hans Krinner, Gefreiter in a Gebersjäger Regiment, bearer of the Eastern Front Medal, who on 27th November 1943 died at the age of 36 years on the Eastern Front, near, it looks like, Novosibirsk. Yes, we have Hans Krinner, George Wimmer, and then we have their Volksbund paperwork here. So Johann... Oh. Interesting. Johann Krinner. Oh yeah, Hans Johann. Yeah. Duh. Let's see. So Johann Krinner probably transferred as an unknown soldier to the military cemetery at Kirovograd, Sommerfriedhof. Place of death listed as Sanitator Company 2162 in Novosoloka. Yeah, born February 14th, 1908. And then George died in Lavrovo and is buried in the military cemetery in Kursk, it looks like. So that's nice. Sellers usually don't include like researcher information on their cards. So it doesn't happen very often, so when it does, I do appreciate getting that. It saves me a little bit of legwork when I'm doing my own investigations later. I've got another card here. Yeah, I really need to get my knife back, but it's at my house currently. There we go. Oh, this is a really neat one, actually. Okay, so this card's bizarre for a lot of reasons. There's nothing really interesting back. So obviously we can see there's a misprint because the bar that should be going around the bottom here is just up. It gets weirder if my camera would focus. Martin Ecker, Unterofficer in the Infantry Regiment, bearer of the Iron Cross 1st and 2nd Class, and the Infantry Assault Badge in gold, which I don't think actually exists. I'm very confused by that. Died February 4th, 1942, after being heavily wounded on the... Okay, so he was wounded on February 4th, 1942, died February 13th of those wounds at the age of 27. But yeah, unfortunately, no photo of that. But Golden Infantry Assault Badge, I think... I'm fairly certain, 99% certain, that does not actually exist, so there must be some kind of miscommunication somewhere. Now, the Infantry Assault Badge did have, if I'm remembering correctly, variants for being awarded for, like, similar to, like, the Panzer Assault Badge, where you could be awarded in, like, the 25, 50, 75 variations, so maybe that's what it's referring to. But yeah, it's just very strange to me. Okay, we got another one here. All right, Josef Heinzel, Gefreiter and Unterofficer's candidate. Let's see. Born August 7, 1924, died July 2nd, 1943. Something about a spa troop there. Interesting, yeah. I'll have to do more research on that one. these are death cards. I think. I legitimately do not remember whether or not these are death cards. I think they are. So we will find out. Okay, we've got some sales documents there. Let's pull those out. Oh, or is it more research, it looks like? Potentially. That'd be swell. It is, actually. Wonderful. So here we have the death card of Erhard Kirschbaum, Obergefreiter in the Grenadier Regiment, Bearer of the Iron Cross, 2nd Class, various other awards, who on February 6, 1944, at the age of 30 years, died. And yeah, we have some research here. So Erhard Kirschbaum, death place listed as, looks like a field hospital, 215 at Luga. Has not yet been transferred to a military hospital set up by the Volksbund. Novgorod, Russia. It's pretty nice. And then there's actually another one here. So we have George Hessenhofer, doctor and philosopher, who on June 5th, 1940, let's see, heavily wounded Granatenwerfer troops, so mortar troops, in Saint Requier in France at the age of 28. I said we have a nice France card there. I don't know, again, my German's not great, but I don't know if that means that he was part of a mortar company or if he was hit by a mortar. I'll have to do more research. But yeah, his death or missing place, Saint Requier. He's buried in the military cemetery in Bourdon. There is his grave number, block 27, row 9, grave 349. It's pretty interesting. Alrighty, I'm going to take a break real quick. I'll be right back. Alrighty, we are back. So the next package actually is not death cards. It's actually some Feldpost. Now, haven't seen a Please Do Not Bend package in a while. That's from a friend of mine who occasionally offers to sell me things. I'm not sure which unboxing it was in, but a while ago I bought a set of letters from him from a German family with an interesting last name, and he apparently found more letters related to that family. Also, he has a note for me in here. See what that says. Okay, yeah, he just apologizing for delayed shipment. Okay, so actually, it's quite interesting. He so the 15 that I bought from him, and then he actually said he had 15 more, and if I want them, I could just send him the payment for them, which is kind of nice. So we'll get a chance to look at them beforehand. But as I've previously shown on this channel, this is a from a German in the field with the last name of Fucker, all from the same soldier. I have Feldpost from, looks like these are all 43. July 22nd, 1943. Again, my Sutherland reading skills are not good. Then again, there aren't very many people alive today that can read Sutherland fluently. But yeah, there's quite a few in here. All from Johann, or Franz Johann, looks like. Or no, from Johann, yeah. Yeah. All to his wife. Yeah, pretty interesting. I have not looked up the Feldpost number on these yet. At least I can remember. But yeah, pretty interesting stuff. I can't remember what I paid for them, but I remember it wasn't a lot, so I probably will end up buying the other 15 here. Because in my experience, you do want to kind of keep... If you have somebody who's, you know, willing to find stuff for you and send it to you, I do try to keep them happy. It's pretty interesting. Trier, Baumhalder. One of these days I'm going to get these translated, but it's just going to go on the pile with all of my death cards, probably. It's pretty neat. These all seem to be 1943. So, yeah, kind of a neat little break from the... death cards here. Let's get these a bit more organized so they actually fit back in the envelope. But yeah, actually, I'm glad to hear from him. I was thinking about this package actually earlier this week because it had been about a month since I ordered it, and he's usually pretty good about getting me stuff. But yeah, I'll have to definitely send him an email later and let him know I got it, and I'll send the rest of his money. So yeah, this last one, recently I've actually, if you've ever used the app Invaluable, it kind of connects you to auctions happening all over the world. And yes, there was an auction going on in Germany, Militaria auction, and they ended up having some death cards. And there's only like one picture of the lot. I think it was like 20 death cards, I want to say. So I couldn't make out most of them. There was also something kind of neat that came with the lot, which is why I bought it. I was the only one who bid on it, so I got, I think there's 20 death cards in here, and then the special extra item that we're going to look at here in a minute for, I want to say, 40 bucks plus like 50 in shipping. There's like 100 total, but like pretty cheap, all things considered. It works out to like $2 or $3 a card. Yeah, that's how you open a package. Alright, so gotta love that pack job. Okay. I think that's everything in there. Let me just look real quick. Yeah, that should be everything. Alright, shred paper everywhere. So, save this for last. Something like 20 death cards in here. First time I'm seeing them, first time you're seeing them, so let's go through them. Start here. So we have Josef Almer, who on November 20th, 1943, died at the age of 76. He's a priest. It's Golden Jubilee. Check, so these aren't all military death cards, it looks like then. Yeah, we have Maria Hollinger, died May of 1929. I know there's definitely some military here, obviously. Dietrich Zellner, died at the age of 68, November 1939. Let's see, another civilian card for Elise Monner, died May 31st, 1922 at the age of 72. George Frick, who died on September 23rd, 1949. Anna Zellner, who died October 5th, 1927 at the age of 57. It's actually a nice smaller style card. Anna Bruckner, who died February 9th, 1939, the age of 76. Another death card here for George Frick, looks like. Josef Thiersch, who died December 7th, 1943, the age of 77 and a quarter. Let's see, George Hoftretter died December 24th, 1941, at the age of 72. Johann Fortner, who was born died August 13th, 1933, at the age of 79. It's actually a pretty nice back panel. See, Walburga Puriner died May 16th, 1939, at the age of 68. Franz Meyer, who on August 27th, 1945, after a heavy something or other, died after receiving final sacraments at the age of 34 and a half. I'm not sure if that's a military card or not, actually, just by looking at it. At least nothing is jumping out to me as being military related. Okay, here we go. Ignace Wessner died May 3rd, 1926. Gigi Berghammer died September 29th, 1937. Let's see, Josef Spindler, who on 1st September 1943 died at the age of 79 and a half. Hubert Arnold died at the age of 68, February 25th, 1938. Joseph Routh, who on March 15th, 1937 died at the age of 61. Katharina Daxelberger, who on August 19th, 1929 at the age of 76. Josef Meyer, who on May 9th, 1938 died at the age of 84. Elizabeth Haynes, who died March 12th, 1935 at the age of 53. Teresa Friedelhuber died May 22nd, 1942. Ignaz Friedelhuber died November 22nd, 1940, at the age of, 76. Oh, another very nice backing, though. Let's see, Max Sommer died October 27th, 1944, at the age of 68. Let's see, Johann Zeller, who on March 17th, 1964, died at the age of 71. Let's see, George Hohensteiger, who on June 24th, 1939, died at the age of 81. Maria Meyer died May 4th, 1944, at the age of 37, after receiving the last sacraments. Konrad Studler died on May 7th, 1930, at the age of 70 and a half. Josef Unterreichmer, who on April 19th, 1944, died at the age of 71. I get a little nervous getting near the bottom here. Andreas Darkinger died December 26th, 1941, at the age of 70. Max Eder died August 16th, 1929, at the age of 79. Let's see, Sebastian Zenitmeyer, December 3rd, 1929. Josef Estrel, who on June 26, 1937, died at the age of 47. Very nice smaller format card, as you can see. Those are a bit more uncommon. Another one for Gigi Berghammer. Let's see, Anna Meyer, December 24th, 1937, died at the age of 79. Another one for Elise Maynor. I'm pretty sure we looked at her already. Katharina Price, who on January 4th, 1940, died at the age of 75. Now we have our first actual military death card. So there were a couple of military cards in the photo, and it looks like all the ones that were like in the photo and not stacked up were military, and they must have had just like one on top of the pile. Yeah, so the rest of these are probably going to be military. That's a bit annoying, since this was a Militaria auction, but I don't have a lot of civilian death cards, and while it's not of particular interest to me outside of the military complex, or the military context, not complex, I mean, having civilian cards kind of reference, similarities and differences in design is kind of interesting. And again, I got the lot for cheap, so I can't really complain. So we have Martin Punks here, Obergefreiter in a Gebers Pioneer Company. Veteran of the campaigns in Africa and Russia. Oh, here we go. Eastern Front Medal, wound badge in silver. Died after 4 years of service, June 14th, 1944, near Rigacini in Romania at the age of 24. And we got an HCON back. Okay, so that pretty much redeemed it for me here. So we have a Gebers Pioneer Company, which I don't think I've had before. Africa-related card, very nice. You can actually see the Edelweiss on the side of his cap there. That's actually a very nice card. Yeah, really nice. And we have, Georg Hasselberger here, who was a soldier in the 18th Bavarian Reserve Infantry Regiment, 1st Machine Gewehr Company. Bearer of the Military Honor Cross, 3rd Class, who on 24th of April, 1918, after 27 months of fighting, it looks like, died at a hospital in Berlin at the age of 26. That's an interesting World War I card there. Ooh, it's got a colored back. You don't see that very often. Yeah, nice. Okay, so not a lot of military cards so far. They're all pretty high quality. Franz Felber, soldier in the infantry regiment, who fell during heavy fighting at the age of 29. Another very nice Gebersjäger card there, actually. So, I wonder if Franz and Martin may be in the same unit. Leo Flicker, who on 15th February 1945, died in Letland at the age of 19. There's a picture of him there. Martin Vordenal, who is a soldier in a Panzerabwehr, a company, the Gebersjäger, who, after a heavy struggle, I think, or hard struggle on November 24th, 1942, died at the age of 19 in the Caucasus. Peter Linselfelder from Munich. Feldwebel and Zugführer, an infantry pioneer company, or Pioneer Zugs. Bearer of the Iron Cross Second Class, veteran of the campaigns of Poland and France, died August 20th, 1942 at the age of 28. We have Eloy Eberl, a fighter in a Gebers Pioneer Battalion. Oh, another, it's not the same name, right? I'm terrible with names. No, because that would be Martin Punks. So we also have then Eloy Eberl here, fighter in a Gebers Pioneer Battalion, died January 17th, 1943, after being heavily wounded in the Caucasus at Novoginskaya. Interesting. And then Stefan Eichmüller, Funker in a Grenadier Panzerjäger Regiment, who fell on October 10th, 1944 by Prague, it looks like, in the east, or Praga. Oh, we have an actual grave photo there. Look at that. Something you do not see super often. Yep, there he is. Grenadier Stefan Eichmüller. I think that's his unit here, there, but I can't make it out. Yeah, born November 26, 1918, died October 10th, 1944. Pretty interesting. Now, the final item here, I'm curious if it ties to any of these gentlemen. And the main reason I bought this lot at auction, and because I'd never seen anything like it before, and I thought with the other stuff in my death card collection it would be quite nice. Never seen a piece like this before, so if anybody else has, I'd be curious to learn more. So let's see. So, cross for the Warfallen. Yes, this is a cross commemorating Warfallen Unser Otto. I looked through these real quick. I don't think I have an auto here. Let's see. Martin, George, Franz, Leo, Martin. Yep, Peter. Well, yeah, so no auto. But apparently, I'll have to do some research. Maybe I could find him. But yeah, this is like a cross that I guess people could have bought or maybe given as gifts to commemorate like a war-fallen, soldier. But yeah, I've never seen one before. Now, a little bummed. I was hoping with the amount of cards that he would be in there somewhere, but apparently he's not. Still, it's a beautiful cross. Very nice, hand-painted. Yeah, definitely will be hanging that up. Once I get all my death card stuff moved to the new house, it's definitely going in the corner that they're all going to be in. But yeah, I've never seen one like that before, so I'd be curious what you guys know or if anybody else has seen anything like that. But I thought that was pretty neat. And yeah, if I find out more, I'll definitely maybe do a video on this at some point. But yeah, so today, it's the longest unboxing video I think I've ever had. And so we have the cross, we have a quite copious amount of death cards actually at this point. And then the letters from Johann Fucker from the field back to his wife, it looks like. But yeah, pretty interesting stuff overall. I hope y'all enjoyed the video. I don't think anybody actually stuck around for the whole thing. But if you did, I appreciate it. But yeah, thank y'all for watching. I hope y'all enjoyed the video. Please leave a comment down below. Love hearing from you guys. Thank y'all for watching. Happy collecting. And I'll see y'all again very soon.